I'm filming on Saturday, January 17th, starting at Southwest 7th Avenue at Chestnut Street, at the top of the street, having a rain event, and just trying to capture where the rain is going down the street towards the swale that the city of Portland purchased or put in. A lot of the rain that doesn't make it into the culvert at the top of the street ultimately bypasses the drain and then goes down the street on the right side, on the west side of the street, as it heads down towards Terwilliger and Barber. I'm going to walk the length of the street, basically showing where the bulk of the water that's coming off the top of the hill is going and how it basically comes down the street, and based on the slope and the tilt of the sidewalk, of the street, it flows then across Southwest 7th to the other side of the street at about the location of the house at 6945 Southwest 7th. You can see the bulk of the water coming down the hill off of the asphalt, flowing down the street and then crossing over to the other side, the east side of Southwest 7th. Additionally, it catches another flow at 7007, which catches up with the other bulk of flow on the other side of the street. This is on the opposite side of the inlet for the swale at the bottom of the street, and it's simply not going into the swale at all when it reaches the bottom of the street. Prior to the installation of the swale, there was an inlet that was often plugged and needed to be cleaned that caught this flow before it went on to or across Terwilliger. Currently, it's, as we'll see, flowing across Terwilliger because it doesn't make the corner down into the new inlet. And cross over and see the flow that's coming down on the east side of the street. This was all intended to go into the swale at the bottom, and it's certainly not as designed currently. So now I'm about 7117 address on Southwest 7th. And I'm going to cross over again, and you can see the bulk of the flow from up above is coming down the street and not going into the inlet that was once here prior to the construction of the swale. It is simply going and flowing down and across Terwilliger. And not making the curve or the corner here to go into the storm drain that's around the apron. I'm going to cross over to the swale. I'm going to turn, catch the images of the swale here, and as the rain flows down Southwest 7th, even the portion that's on the west side of the street, very little is going into the actual swale. So again, you can see the flow across the street that is not going into any device, it's simply going across Terwilliger. And on the west side of the street where the swale is actually located, the flow that is flowing down the street is not making it into the swale. It's just the slope of the street is not such that it's allowing much of the volume to go into the swale at all. Some of it is flowing into the swale. You can see from here that it's actually functioning like as intended. It's getting some water into the first series of pools. Our concern is that the bulk of the flow is not getting into the swale, and actually the bulk of the water is not getting into the plants that are in the swale, and it's going to potentially cause them to die because there's not enough moisture in the swale and it's not functioning as designed. The inlet looks like it should be larger, and again, it looks like the tilt of the road needs to be changed somehow to capture the water that's coming down the east side of Southwest 7th. And again, swale water here, as intended, is not making it into the swale and flowing down across and going across to the east side of Terwilliger. So this is capturing a really good rain event here on the 17th of January, the morning of Saturday, January 17th. And it's just showing that we're missing a substantial amount of the flow that was intended for the swale. here at Southwest 7th and Chestnut, Southwest 7th and Terwilliger. And unfortunately, something needs to be done. Because we're not capturing the intended stormwater runoff for the swale under current conditions and design.